Hi, this is Melanie Gerald for Bass City Beat. Many of you may not know that April is National Sexual Assault Awareness Month. Sexual assault is a serious problem that nearly 1 out of 4 women and 1 out of 8 men will experience in their lifetime. And we're here at Turning Point to learn more about sexual assault awareness and prevention.
Turning Point, very basically, is an agency that serves survivors of domestic sexual violence and their children.
We provide a variety of services. One thing that we do is we offer immediate forensic response. So anyone who's sexually assaulted in Macomb County or who's a Macomb County resident can contact our crisis line, and they can get access to a forensic exam in a private, confidential site. We'll also meet people at local hospitals and do the same thing. And we have trained forensic professional nurses, and we also have first response advocates who come and they'll meet a sexual assault victim anywhere to talk about sort of what may have happened and do some crisis intervention.
We have free and confidential counseling through our outreach program. We also, the shelter program certainly can, for survivors of sexual assault, when it's unsafe for them to return home or wherever, they can certainly come into the shelter too.
Everyone falls victim to sexual assault. Men, women, and children. We do know that nearly half of the survivors that we saw at our forensic site last year were under the age of 18. In Michigan, we have a really comprehensive criminal sexual conduct law, which is fantastic because it does not require that there's penile penetration. It doesn't require ejaculation. So at the end of the day, it's all about any unwanted touching.
Life is going to change a little bit, if not a lot. And so, sometimes for survivors there's a change in sleeping habits, change in moods. I know people think that, I think one of the myths about sexual assault is once someone is raped, the rest of their whole lives is just, shot. But I don't necessarily think that that's true.
What we need to understand is that whatever a survivor of sexual assault is feeling is normal, and there's a variety of reactions that include post-traumatic stress disorder and other kinds of feelings that really people need a safe space to talk about, and we can be that space.
Sexual assault, along with domestic violence, really does, aside from all the personal things that happens to people, it does take a toll on the economy because, again, someone survives the trauma of sexual assault and they might not feel like going to work for a while, or they can't go because they've been physically injured along with the sexual assault.
April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and it's an opportunity that we get to really draw some attention to these issues.
Across the nation this month, places like Turning Point, other rape crisis programs, are all, in different ways speaking to our individual communities about the fact that, letting the community know that sexual assault happens. And I know that sounds kind of silly, but it's really the community really needs to come together and start understanding that not only does it happen, but it can take quite a toll on not only the survivors, but certainly on the community.
We draw attention to sexual assault by creating events in Sexual Assault Awareness Month, by also having services for survivors, by doing a ton of prevention work in the middle and high schools in our county. We see over 8,000 middle and high school kids each year, and we do a bunch of prevention around both domestic and sexual violence.
I think it would be a good thing for the community to really start believing the fact that we can stop sexual assault.
Sexual assault is a crime that's about power. It's never about sex. And so to end sexual assault, we have to get towards ending the need for people to have power and control over others.
Nearly half of survivors receiving emergency sexual assault services from Turning Point in 2006 were under the age of 18. It is estimated that 1 in 4 women and 1 in 8 men will be sexually assaulted in their lifetime. Nationally, sexual violence costs over $858.6 million in lost productivity, over $4.1 billion in health care, and over $5.8 billion to incarcerate convicted perpetrators. In 8 out of 10 rape cases, the victim knew the perpetrator. As part of their many activities to help survivors of sexual assault and to help bring sexual assault awareness to the community, Turning Point invited survivors and their loved ones to share their thoughts, feelings, and experiences with others on patches that were made into inspiring quilts. Sexual assault can hurt people physically, emotionally, and economically, so it's time we step up and do what we can to help support its prevention. If you or someone you know has been a victim of sexual assault, make sure you talk to someone, and Turning Point can be a great place to turn to for support. The sooner we begin educating people about sexual assault, the sooner the horrifying statistics can begin to decrease. So help spread sexual assault awareness. For Bass City Beat, I'm Melanie Geralds.